This radio is powered by Streamline, the superior internet radio hosting service that provides our SOCAN license coverage. Visit streamline.com for more.
Hey there, changemakers. Imagine a world where every small act creates a ripple of impact. At wearestarfish.org, we're turning dreams of a better tomorrow into reality. Join our global community of starfish where every person like you is a catalyst for positive change. Whether it's empowering education, environmental stewardship, or supporting local communities, we believe in the power of every individual to make a difference. Visit wearestarfish.org today and discover how you can be a part of the wave of change. Wearestarfish.org, because each one matters.
Like confetti in a windstorm.
Welcome to Story to Screen here on KPEO World Community Radio, where we're rocking the film world each week on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can go online, download the app, and listen in weekly with new guests and music, or catch the replay on wearestarfish.org. This is Story to Screen, and I'm your host, Eric Krefeld. Let's dive in.
On the boulevard, I'm not going back. It's my parade.
Hello all, this is Story to Screen. I'm your host, Prana Songbird, and with me today is Bill Mullendore. Oh, I forgot to ask. Bill, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Mullendore?
Actually, Mullendore, yes. Like you're mulling around and a door. So it's Mullendore.
Mullendore.
Yes.
Better?
Yep.
Sorry about that. But can I call you Bill?
Sure.
Okay.
What everybody else calls me.
Awesome. Hello all and welcome to Story to Screen. I'm your host, Prana Songbird, and today we have Bill Mullendore. Hey Bill, how's it going?
Doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Just so you guys know, I know that Bill is somewhere on the East Coast and I am all the way on the West Coast. So it is bright and shiny here still. And Bill, it looks like it's like midnight over there.
It is dark. It's dark. we're in nighttime here.
Well, I appreciate you taking time and scooting into an area where we can do a quick chat with you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, I'm glad to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
Now, tell us a little bit about yourself. So you're working on a film right now, but before we get into that, like you didn't start in the film industry. You actually started in music, correct?
I started in radio. I played music. My family grew up with music. My dad had a band. I had a band. I've been, played instruments and whatever when I was
What did you play?
Kid. I played drums.
Nice.
I was a drummer. So
nice.
I've been a drummer since I was 3 years old.
Aww.
But anyway, so, music has been quite a bit of my background. And I've played mostly in churches. And then age 13, I really started loving radio. Like to get into radio, and back in those days, you had to be 21 to be able to be a disc jockey because you had to get a license. You had to be licensed through the FCC. So I kind of broke my heart being at 13, not being able to just go in and be a disc jockey. But anyway.
They got to make licenses for everything. Everybody has to have a license or a degree or something.
Yeah, I kind of lost you there.
I was just saying, I understand that heartbreak. Everybody wants to, make you jump through hoops and get a license for everything these days.
Right. Well, they finally did away with all of that. But even at 21, I had a really hard time getting into radio because when you had to have, and I'm sorry, I've got fire department going by me here.
That's all right.
But, anyway, back then you had to take Morse code test and you had to do paperwork test, testing test for the FCC.
Wow.
And I couldn't pass. There's no way I could do Morse code. I just couldn't do it. So I couldn't get in it. But there came a day when, back in the late 70s, when I first did get into radio. I went to a Christian radio station thinking that I was really stupid for doing it, to go apply for being a disc jockey, knowing that there was going to be a test. And I got in to see the manager, and I said, I don't even know why I'm here because I can't pass the test, so I don't know why I'm doing this interview with you. And he says, as of 2 days ago, the FCC did away with the test. And all you have to do is fill out an application, then you'll get your lifetime license. And I said, really? He said, yeah. So that's how I got started in radio. And of course, like I said, it was a Christian radio station, and I did that for 30 years as a disc jockey. And it wasn't all full-time jobs with radio stations. I probably worked maybe 6 or 7 different radio stations during that period of time. But it was all Christian radio, and some of the stations I worked at were basically full-time country music. But I would work the weekends part-time, sometimes filling in full-time for other disc jockeys.
And at any point, did they say, there's an emergency, we need you to use Morse code?
No. No. I've never heard of anybody in radio broadcasting that's ever used Morse code. So where that came in at, I don't know. Why did you have to take Morse code?
I'm guessing that came in before television. That was like a rule way back before, I don't know, maybe there were phones and people couldn't communicate as quickly and easily. They said, hey, if there's an emergency, Morse code. Everybody must have knew it. Everyone must have known it back then, I guess.
They must have, but there was no little Morse code gadgets or whatever they call them that you use to send Morse code in a radio station. Maybe it was, if some kind of, like you said, big emergency happened, there was a way to communicate that way or whatever. I don't know. But
I wonder how many people today would know, like, oh, that's Morse code. They're saying the shelter is over here, come get food over there. Like, how many people actually know Morse code today?
Right.
That's kind of a scary thought.
There's probably a few, especially since yesterday, D-Day or whatever. I'm sure some of those guys knew Morse code and probably had to have it, but Morse code is pretty much gone out the window now. So
yeah.
But now you don't even need a license. You don't even have a lifetime license. All you do is just go get a job as a disc jockey, or what they call a control room engineer now, since everything is automated in a radio station. There's no spinning of disc or playing of CDs or records or anything. It's all computerized.
Nope.
Anymore. So
just type in a name and you're done.
Yep. It used to sit at a microphone in a desk for 6 hours and run a 6-hour show. Today, you walk into a radio station and in 45 minutes, you've done a 6-hour show.
Yeah.
So there's really not much that a control room engineer can do in radio anymore, but that's the way it is. That's technology. So it's almost put the what we would call the disc jockey out of business. But anyway,
let's take a break right there, and we will be back with Bill Mullendore.
Right.
Levee's gonna break. If it keeps on raining, Levee's gonna break. Water's gonna come, take our home away. Well, late last night, sat on the levee and moaned. Yeah, late last night,
sat on the levee and moaned, thinking about my baby and my happy home. If it keeps on raining, levee's gonna break. If it keeps on raining, levee's gonna break. Water gonna come, take our home away. Now look here, mama, what am I to do? Yeah, look here, mama, what am I to do? Ain't got nobody to tell my trouble to. I worked on the levee, mama, both night and day. I worked on the levee, mama, both night and day. Ain't got nobody to wash my water away. Now crime won't help, pray won't do no good. No, crime won't help, pray won't do no good. When the levee breaks, mama, you got to lose. Now I worked on the levee, mama, both night and day. I worked on the levee, mama, both night and day. Worked so hard to keep the waters away. If it keeps on raining, levee's gonna break. If it keeps on raining, levee's gonna break. Water gonna come, take our home away.
Welcome back. I'm Prana Songbird with Bill Mullendore, and we were just talking about his past life as a disc jockey. And now, though, Bill, I want to move on to a current project that you're working on called The Lone Mountain.
Yeah, it's a major motion picture that I've been working on for 13 years last month.
Wow.
So it's my first film, but it's being a greenhorn, I guess you can say. It's really a very hard business to be in. So a lot of people start out with a lot less higher budget in the independent film industry. They start out usually around the $200 to $300, maybe $400 to $500, $1,000 range. But for me, when I wrote this movie, it's turned out that it's needed a higher budget to it to put it together. But it took me 5 months to write it, and I was working with David Nixon at the time, which was DMP Studios out of Orlando, Florida, and he worked with Sherwood Pictures. When I had met him, he had just finished working with them on Facing the Giants and Fireproof.
What was it?
The name of the movies was Facing the Giants and Fireproof.
Oh, and Fireproof. Okay.
Yeah. So he helped them. They brought him in to help them produce those two movies. And I was basically just starting my own radio station at home. Like I said, you can do it automated. So anybody from their own home can get the software things like put music videos together on one side of your station and just do regular on-air type on the other side. So I knew the air type, and I wanted to try to get into the video side. And so I knew I was going to need to film some stuff, and I just didn't really know the type of equipment that I needed at the time to really make some good videos, to use good camera work and that. And I didn't have the funds to actually hire a company to come in and do a 10-minute video for the video side and do little 10-minute videos for in between music videos and things like that. So I ended up going to getting in touch with Sherwood, and I did it through one of the actors that was in the movie Courageous.
Hey there, changemakers. Imagine a world where every small act creates a ripple of impact. At wearestarfish.org, we're turning dreams of a better tomorrow into reality. Join our global community of starfish where every person like you is a catalyst for positive change. Whether it's empowering education, environmental stewardship, or supporting local communities, we believe in the power of every individual to make a difference. Visit wearestarfish.org today and discover how you can be a part of the wave of change. Wearestarfish.org, because each one matters.
Steve Beastie is a DJ in the UK.
Stay where you are. And Misty Blues have created a very, very special album indeed, and I have been lucky enough to have advance listen to this album.
He's been airing our music for years. And he has such colorful language. I love just listening to him.
And if this doesn't make you shudder, if this doesn't make you tingle, then you've got no soul.
Oh my God, did he say that? When he loves your music, he's all in.
Listen to the saxophone from Aaron. Seth Fleischman's guitar on that, absolutely beautiful. Listen to the wonderful Gina Coleman and that beautiful, authentic, wonderful, rootsy voice that she's got.
Shortly before our tour, he had posted that he got cancer. A couple of months later, it was December, he had posted that he didn't think he was gonna make it to the next year. And I had written this song that I really wanted him to hear. So I decided I was gonna just do a voice recording. You had all your dreams in one basket, but the fates chose a different pathway. Nothing's in Vain came to me after we found out that we blanked out on 7 possible Grammy nominations. I look at it as, my Licking My Wounds song. I was happy that he got to hear it, and I was hoping, really hoping that he would hang in there. This song needs to be dedicated to him, and it will be dedicated to Steve Beastie on the album. These blues cast off the pain. It originated as something to process the loss of not winning some award, which is really kind of trivial. And I'm glad that he reframed that song for me. It is not a licking my wounds song. It is an honoring of a wonderful man. Often life has a way of misguiding the hopes that you hold on so dear.
and the truth that you end up hiding is the darkness brought on by your fears. When the die that was wrong is accepted, and you realize that nothing's in vain, these blues are here to sustain you. 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 These blues cast all the pain.
This radio is powered by Streamlion, the superior internet radio hosting service that provides our SOCAN license coverage. Visit streamlion.com for more.
That I had interviewed actually on my internet radio station. I had started an internet radio station at home. And like I say, I was wanting to do more with the video side. But I did some interviews with Alex Kendrick and, gosh, I can't remember his name now. Anyway, he was one of the police officers in the movie. And he put me in touch with Sherwood Pictures, and they sent me their movie files to Flywheel, Facing the Giants, and Fireproof. And out of those files, I went ahead and found David Nixon, who helped them produce it, got in touch with him, sent him my story that I had wrote, which is now Lone Mountain. It was Grain of a Mustard Seed was the name of it at that time.
Oh, okay.
But now it's called Lone Mountain. It was Escape from Lone Mountain, and now it's Lone Mountain, the movie. But anyway, David liked it so much, he had told me that he wanted to make a movie out of it, and he would, if I wanted to get into the movie business, he would teach me everything I needed to know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been quite a few years ago, and I was with him for 4 years, and then he retired.
Oh.
Out of it. So I kind of ended up going on solo and was wondering how in the world I was going to get through all of this. But I did a lot of praying, and Lone Mountain started out being an MMA fighting type movie, and we decided against that when I was getting with my screenplay writer. And so we decided, we needed to do something a little different, and it was suggested and this is just before David left, that we decided we wanted to go and do something for kids. And so we ended up saying, okay, there are kids that have parents in prison, and they really aren't known that well. There's not very many organizations that are out there for kids with parents in prison. There are quite a few with parents with kids in prison, but not kids with parents in prison.
Oh, you mean more like like almost support groups?
Support groups, camps, things that can help kids cope with everyday life, knowing that they're going to be away from a parent that's gone to prison, or both parents that have gone to prison, or guardians. Just basically they're guardians. Mm-hmm. When somebody is sentenced to prison, it not only just upsets their life by having to go to prison, which is, whatever, but it's like the family's being sentenced too. And so these kids are left with emotional and mental scars, and they can end up becoming runaways, drug addicts. They can go out and commit crimes themselves, end up in jail or end up in prison themselves, all because they are not having that contact with a parent or guardian, and that closeness that they possibly once had. And so they need some of them need extra support, you know,
Yes.
emotionally and mentally, and they may not have that. And so there's not a whole lot of places that give that support. So we decided, in order to bring more awareness to this, we thought, well, let's go with this with the movie. And so,
And when you're talking about these kids in particular, so we're part of the Starfish Foundation. I'm tied to the Starfish Foundation, and that's about kids in foster care. Some of these kids are in foster care because, you know, they had to be removed from their parents, whether their parents were living with addiction or, you know, have been incarcerated or are deceased, whatever the reason is. But you're not talking specifically about kids that are in like foster care, because there needs to be more support for those kids too. But are you referring to kids that they're still with family? They're not removed from their family altogether, but possibly it's like living with maybe a grandparent or something. Having those kids have support as well.
some of them, all situations are not the same.
No.
So it depends on the issues at hand. You know, grandparents could be or may not be in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
There are times, I'm sure, that some kids actually do end up in foster care because there is no family that they can be placed with. If immediate, you know, mother and father or somebody immediately that's their guardian has been taking care of them or whatever, is there any longer because they've now been incarcerated. So it depends on the situation. The family is involved, I'm sure, but if the family members aren't really ready for something like this too, they may not know how to handle being able to help a child out through struggles. Children like to keep emotions in and thoughts and whatever, and so they act out in different ways to try to let people know that they're hurting. So family members may not know how to handle this type of emotional trauma and mental unstability with the child or children. And so the outreach, further than just family, there's not a whole lot of it there. And so through the movie, we want to try to make people aware that there needs to be more outreach, more help for these type of kids, because a defendant is not the only one that's being sentenced. They're going to go to a prison, but the whole family's being sentenced because you're dividing them, you're separating them, you're pulling them apart.
And with technology today, almost everybody knows everybody else's business. It's not, you know, you don't need a detective to find out somebody's, you know, dark history. So when a kid goes to school, you know, somebody is going to inevitably find out that, hey, didn't your mom or dad get arrested for this, that, and the other? You know, what do you know? And then kids are kids. they're gonna pick and they're gonna prod because that's what they just do for some strange reason. And you know, you're right. You know, a lot of people forget about the rest of the family. And there's there's this who's to blame. People start playing the blame game when somebody goes to prison. Well, was it the parents' fault that this young person is in jail now? And so the parents of that person are feeling some kind of guilt, about it. The kids are feeling, shame about it. And then where's the community, where's society embracing those people and going, hey, everybody makes their own decisions in this life, and you don't have to let this define you.
Right. And that's probably one of the biggest things that the kids have trouble with is being able to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
A lot easier than what it would have been if their parents or whoever wouldn't have been incarcerated.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot of people that are quick to wag their finger in a child's face and say the apple didn't fall far from the tree, and just
Yeah, I feel like they're just as guilty as what
right.
their whoever was sentenced and put in prison. So
Absolutely.
there's more that evolves around all of this, and I don't think pulling a kid out of school, or not out of school, well, part of that too maybe, but pulling them away from other family members is the answer. I think there needs to be more talk groups, more camps. There's from the research that I've been able to do, there are a few camps around, but there's not very many for these kids. And there needs to be more that's done for these kids. It's like they're just they no longer are a part of, or should be a part of, society because of what somebody else has done. Like I said, they're being blamed. It's like they go to school, like you said, they're going to be ridiculed.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be, taunted
and bullied.
And bullied as if whoever did, their parent did, was their fault too. And that's not true. That's not how these kids should be treated. So we based the movie around that, and we wanted to make it exciting. So even though I do mostly wanting to do mostly faith-based movies, this one is more of a family-friendly action type movie.
Oh, okay.
It's based around a ranch that I don't want to give too much away on it. But
No spoilers.
That's right. But there's a lady that is an older lady, and her husband, she goes to prison. And she goes because she was a nurse in a hospital, and she had been in some kind of accident and ended up being a pill junkie. And so she got hooked on pills, and she was caught stealing out of the pharmacy. And ends up going to prison. But while she's in prison, she finds Christ and comes out, and she starts this camp for kids that have parents in prison. And so her and her husband run this camp that's called Lone Mountain. It's a ranch, Lone Mountain Ranch. And they start this ranch, and they bring, of course, the kids to the ranch. And I apologize. I think I'm going to have another ambulance or fire truck going by here.
Oh, I saw lights.
Anyway.
As long as they're not after you.
Right. No, they're not after me. Thank goodness. But so they bring these kids to this camp because they're troubled. They're troubled teens. They're having trouble coping with life and whatever because they're missing their loved ones that's been incarcerated. So they're having a lot of trouble at home. They're lashing out, and their behavior is really bad. But anyway, they go to this camp and they're taught about Christ, and they're given hope, and they learn about forgiveness, uh, and how to treat people, and how God would want them to have, treat people, and that they do matter, and that God is still there for them and with them, and that He's going to get them through. And then they're put to the test, and so the action's going to begin, and they're going to have to put what they've learned at the camp in order to survive. Things are going to happen that they're going to have to use what they've learned in order to live and survive what they're going to go through. And I don't want to say much more about it, but
well, let's stop right there.
Sure, but it's very high octane, action packed.
Which is why you need a bigger budget, because whenever it's action packed and high octane, that means there's a lot more insurance that you're needed, and stunt coordinators and things like that.
Absolutely, but it's going to be based around these kids and what they've learned and how they're going to react to the situations that they're going to be put in. And I can't tell you how the movie's going to come out. I can't say if any of the kids are going to get killed, but there's going to be some very heavy tragedy and tragic things that are going to happen within the movie. There's going to be a lot of animals too. That's one reason that the budget of the movie is going to be high, is because there's going to be quite a bit of animals in this thing.
Okay.
And, but
exciting.
There's going to, of course, it's a ranch, so there's going to be horses. Horses are going to be involved. We're going to have the Forestry Commission involved.
I was at a ranch type place recently and found myself accidentally herding sheep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They escaped from the pen, and I go, "Hey, are your sheep supposed to be out?" And the guy goes, "No." When he runs off. He's like, "I'm so sorry," and he runs off, and I'm like, "Well, do you need help? I don't know what to do, but I'll help." And I'm trying to shimmy around to keep the sheep from passing me by. So working with animals is always an adventure. I'll say that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we've got a really good team together to make this movie. A lot better than what a lot of people expected me to be able to put together. There's some really, really good, high, well-known producers that's in with it, and a lot of the crew is just really well-known and has been in the business for years. So it's been a roller coaster ride for me, and it's taken me 13 years to get here. And I think we're finally closing in on getting ready to hopefully make this, I believe, next year. I think we're going to shoot this thing. So
most people don't know how difficult it is to bring these really big stories to life if you're not, a major, production company or whatever. And anything that gets made is a success, in my opinion. Well, not anything, because there's some stuff out there that I would not touch with a 10-foot pole. We're not going to go into details about that, but most of the independent films out there, there's so much that has to go into it, and people think it's just, we're just going to show up, we're going to shoot some stuff, and then we're going to make $1 million off this, and that's not it.
It's a very hard business making a motion picture, especially your first one, when trying to get the funding, and that does go with your other projects that you may do too, unless you're going to fund it yourself. But
Right.
So a lot of it is built around the funding for it, but there's still a lot more. It's just movies are paperwork. It's basically all they are, and there's just tons and
The
tons
fun
and
part.
tons.
Yeah, the fun part is the writing and the filming, but there's all of this red tape in between those two things.
Right.
That if you don't have a great team with you, oh my God, it so quickly falls apart. That's why I say most of these movies, if you've got a good concept and it's educational or it's heartwarming, or good luck. I wish you all the best kind of thing, because it is a lot of hoop jumping to get anything made. Even something that's just a little, 7 to 10 minute short film.
Right.
You're going for the full feature film. So
Yep. If I had a nickel, just a nickel for every email that I have sent out in the last 13 years, I could fund this film and maybe another one with a high budget. So it's a lot of work, a lot of hard work to make a movie. But I know in the end it's going to be well worth it, and it's not the money that I'm looking at wanting to make. It's the message. We're doing it to get a message across.
Yes.
And that's what the movie's about. It's about the kids. It's about the message that we want to let people know about these kids, and hopefully what needs to be done, and hopefully others will help come up with or whatever. And it's about Christ too.
Yes.
We don't go into these movies wanting to hit people over the head with the Bible. It's just not about that either. It's about life in general, and it's about how God would like us to live our lives. But we have to take the life that we're living here and now and try to apply that with God's word, without trying to upset other people or whatever. So, but like I said, this is going to be a modern day Western type deal for the kids too.
Well, I am incredibly excited for you for the filming of this, and I'm wishing you so much success, Bill. I really am. I can't wait. I'm just putting it out there right now. This is happening next year, and we will be sitting in the movie theaters watching it together. That's what I'm hoping and praying for.
Grab your popcorn and your Coke. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this one. This will be a good one. We won some big awards on it already, so I'm pretty excited about it. I just want to get it made. There's a lot of people that want to see this movie, and I think in the 13 years that I've been working on this, I haven't had one person. In fact, everybody has said you need to tell this story. It's going to be a good movie, but this story needs to be told.
Mm-hmm.
And so, hopefully, we're going to get it out there. And
I think you will.
It's just God's timing, and
yes,
we'll wait on Him. But He's opening doors. And with my situation, I started this movie when I was, and still am, on Social Security. You're talking about millions of dollars to make a movie, and of course, when David Nixon said, "Do you want to make a movie out of this?" I kind of thought, well, you're kind of crazy, because I can't raise millions of dollars. I don't know how to do that. I'm on Social Security. To a guy that ain't got anything hardly. So, but I've seen a lot of miracles open the door to get this thing as far as it is. I shouldn't be where I'm at with it, but I am. So I know God is in this. But for one thing, just to kind of put one little miracle out there so you can see this. When I first got with David and needed to get a screenplay written for the story, he told me, well, I'm going to have to raise at least $50,000 to $100,000 to get a screenplay writer to write the screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, there's no way I can't raise $20 from somebody to help put gas in my car to get me through the rest of the month. How am I going to raise this kind of money? But, he said he wouldn't work with anybody who hadn't already had made a screenplay and had it made into a movie. Said he just wasn't going to work with anybody like that. And I said, well, what if I could get somebody to do this on the back end and maybe, like pay them later? He said, oh, they'll never do that. You'll never find anybody like that. So you're going to have to raise the money because you're never going to find anybody like that. And I said, David, you're putting chains on God. How do you know what God has out there? How do you know God doesn't already have somebody that's going to do that and do it on the back end and write a good enough screenplay that it can be made into a movie? Well, looky here. The miracle happened.
Mm-hmm.
The screenplay got made. The money wasn't raised, but the screenplay got made, and it's won awards. It's won some big awards.
And then Dave retired.
Yes. Yes. So, you can't question God. There's, we gotta be in touch with God. We gotta listen to what God's saying, and we know that if he wants something done, he's going to get it done, one way or another. So, I went in this thing saying, God, if this is what you want done, you're going to do it because I can't. There's no way I can do it. So, I've just seen other miracles because I don't have the funds. I haven't had the funds to do anything. And I've been faced with having to come up with a lot of money to get things done and don't have it, But God's he's going to get this done. So, anyway.
I believe it. And, and what I really hope comes from it is that some kids who really need to see the story and hear the story and, get to relate to it and find some peace and some hope in the story, as well as some fun and adventure as well. But just that peace and hopefulness,
Right.
So, but we've got to go because we have another segment coming up with Eric Krefeld and the music segment of Story to Screen. So, Bill, thank you so much for joining us. Is there any information you want to put out there really quick about how people can get in touch with you if they want to hear more about your movie or to maybe be a part of the filming?
Yeah, they can go to my website, which can give them just about everything that they would need to know. And they can even contact us through the website. And the website address is CCP, like Charles Paul, staff. I'm sorry. I'm getting my email. It's movie, MOVIE.com. So it's CCP movie, MOVIE.com. And you'll go to the website, and then you can go to the contact page if you want to contact us. And then you can see the upcoming projects there and everything that's going on with us at Christian Cinema Productions.
All right. Well, thank you, Bill Mullendore.
Thank you so much for having me. And I want to say God bless everybody and God bless America.
Aw. All right, guys. We will see you next time on Story to Screen.
This radio is powered by Streamlion, the superior internet radio hosting service that provides our SOCAN license coverage. Visit streamlion.com for more.
That southern wind is blowing hard. I got my wings on the boulevard. I'm not turning back. It's my parade. You don't have a ticket. You stand in the rain. This is all I gotta say. It might be wrong, but it's everything. I don't know, but it's all I can bring. I'm calling to the storm. Watch me dancing on the Baby, mama, 'cause I'm going like a lady in a windstorm. I've been ready since the day I was born. Like a lady in a windstorm. I've been ready since the day I was born. Since the day I was born. Like a lady. Day I was born. Give it up, yes, I'm ready. Give it up, feel the flames. It's bound to eat you. Hand up a beast of prey. Give it up, yes, I'm ready. Give it up, feel the flames. It's bound to beat you. Beat you at your own game.
Thanks for spending some time here at Story to Screen on KPEO World Community Radio. I'm your host, Eric Krefeld, and we're rocking the film world every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can download the app or listen live, or catch the replay at wearestarfish.org, because each one matters. Catch you next week on Story to Screen. Keep supporting film and music. It's the story we tell that matters.